بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي رب يسر ولا تؤسر وتمم بالخير. Let's begin the exercises, but before we start the exercises, I would like to ask a question. من الذي يتذكر جوازم المضارع? Who remembers the choppers of the present tense? Yes, هل من مجيب? Is there anyone to give the answer? جوازم المضارع, the choppers of the present tense. Yes, لا الناهية, لم, لما, and then we have لي. لي, which is called Laam al-Amr, and Laam al-Amr has 4 different forms, which is li, fal, wal, and thummal. So this is called Laam al-Amr, and then we have al-Jazmu bi-talabi. Al-Jazmu bi-talabi. So these are the Jawazim al-Mudari, which chop the ending of the present tense. Now we have the exercises over here. Ajib anil asilatil atiya. Answer the following questions. Question number 1 is, لماذا جاء الممرض إلى الفصل? Why did the male nurse come to the classroom? So we know that جاء is fail, and الممرض will be the fa'il, and إلى الفصل is jar majroor. Yes, does anyone remember why did he come to the classroom?
For the vaccination.
Excellent. To take the students for the vaccination. All right. So جاء الممرض ليأخذ الطلاب الجدد للتطعيم. To take the new students for the vaccination. So that the nurse or the male nurse came to take the students for the vaccination. What kind of lam is this? Li, as we can see over here. If you see that the verb after that is mansub, it has fatha, that means this is Laam al-Ta'lil. Laam al-Ta'lil, which is used to give a reason. ليأخذ, yes, ليأخذ الطلاب الجدد لتطعيم, to take. So here we are giving the reason. So as we know that Laam al-Ta'lil is used for the reason. جاء الممرض, the nurse came, ليأخذ, to take. So he came there for a reason. What is the reason? To take the new students for the vaccination. And we can see here that at-tullaba al-jududa is in the place of, or it is maf'ul bihi, and lit-tat'imi is jar majroor. All right, so if we have, or if we had, let's say, Laam al-Amr over here, for some reason, let's say, then we know that the Mudara will be saakin, the ending will be saakin. So that is the difference between Laam al-Amr and Laam al-Ta'lil. After Laam al-Ta'lil, the verb is always mansub. And after Laam al-Amr, it will be always Majzoom. Then the ending will be saakin. من أين يأتي الوفد إلى المهدي? Where is the delegation coming from to the institute? Yes, do you remember? يأتي الوفد من إحدى جامعات Nigeria. So the delegation is coming from one of the universities of Nigeria. So as we can see here that Ya'ti is the verb and al-wafdu is the fa'il, and then we have ila al-mahdi, which is basically jar majroor. Ya'ti al-wafdu min ihda jami'ati. Okay, now we can see here that jami'at is majroor. Why it is majroor? If you remember, we discussed in the previous lesson that ahadun and ihda, both of them, they are used as mudaf. Whenever they are used with a noun, they are used as mudaf. So that's why you can see here, jami'at is mudaf ilayh, and this is majroor. Min ihda jami'ati Nigeria, from one of the universities of Nigeria. من الذي كتب الآية على السبورة ومن الذي قرأها? Who wrote the verse on the board and who read it? الذي كتب الآية علي. So the one who wrote the verse is Ali. والذي قرأها محمد, and the one, or it should be والذي قرأها, basically قرأها, and the one who read it Muhammadun is Muhammad. So here we can see that kataba is basically fail plus fa'il, kataba, and that's why al-ayata is maful bihi. So we know that when we use the third person, the first form of the third person, like dhahaba, like kataba, like nasara, so we have to look for the noun after that. If the noun has fatha, that means it is maful bihi. And if the noun has dhamma, that means this is the fa'il. Then the noun will be the fa'il. So الذي كتب الآية علي, the one who wrote the verse is Ali. والذي قرأها محمد, and the one who read it or recited it is Muhammad. ليدخل. Now we have the information about Laam al-Amr, as we can see over here. So we know that Laam al-Amr basically takes kasra, as we can see here, li, and the ending becomes saakin. And the meaning that we get from Laam al-Amr, the meaning should be, or the meaning would be, let him, or let her, or let us. And similarly, it can be translated as may. It depends like how it is used in the sentence. ليدخل, let him enter. ليدخل, let him enter. هذه لام الأمر. This is Laam al-Amr, and it's a very easy sentence. هذه is mubtada, and Laam al-Amri is khabar. هذه لام الأمر. This is Laam al-Amr. تدخل على الفعل المضارع. It enters on the present tense. وتجزمه, and it makes it saakin, or it gives it jazm, as we know that it chops it. وتفيد الأمر, and it gives the meaning of the, or it gives the benefit of the command. وتفيد, and it gives the benefit الأمر of the command. تدخل على فعل الغائب والمتكلم. So if you remember, we have discussed that it enters either on the third person, al-ghaib, or al-mutakallim, or the speaker. What are the third person? يذهب, يذهبان, يذهبون, تذهب, تذهبان, يذهبنا. So 6 of them, as we know, they are the third person, and then we have 6 for the second person, and then we have 2 for the mutakallim, ana wa nahnu, yani adhabu wa nadhabu. So these are basically 14 forms of the verb. Every verb has 14 basic forms, whether it is the past or the present. So 6 for the ghaib, 6 for the mukhatab, and 2 for the mutakallim. So al-ghaib means the third person, the one who is not physically there, or the one who is not actively participating in the conversation. While mutakallim means the one who is talking. Yani ana al-mutakallim, I am the one who is talking. وَنَحْنُ مُتَكَلِّمُونَ, and if we are all together, then we will say that we are the ones who are talking. نحو, for example, ليجلس كل طالب في مكانه. Let every student sit in his place. And also you remember that after Laam al-Amr, the noun will be marfu, or the subject will be marfu. As we know that after the second person, when we make fi'l al-amr to the second person, idhab or idhabi, then after that we know that the noun will be mansub. But after Laam al-Amr, we can see here that the noun will be marfu. ليجلس كل طالب في مكانه. Let every student sit in his place. And لنجلس معا, let's sit together. لنجلس معا, let's sit together. Laam al-Amri maksuratun, and now it's confirmed here that Laam al-Amr has kasra. Maksuratun means yani it has kasra. وتسكن بعد الواو, وتسكن بعد الواو, and it is made sakin after the waw, والفاء, and after fa, وثم, and after thumma. So if you remember, we have learned, like, how did we learn it? We have learned it like li, fal, wal, thummal. So the same thing over here, as you can see here. وتسكنوا, as you can see here, وتسكنوا, as this is passive, and it is made sakin. It is made sakin when بعد الواو, after waw. So we say wal. بعد الفاء, we say fal, and بعد الثمة, it becomes thummal. So it will be li, wal, fal, thummal. Li, wal, fal, thummal. So all these 4 forms, they are Laam al-Amr. Yes, is there any question that you would like to ask? I hope
No,
it's
sir.
okay, it's clear. Okay, so have you memorized the 4 forms of Laam al-Amr? I want to hear one time from you. Yes. Li,
Wal, Fal,
Fal,
Summal.
Thummal. Excellent. Thummal, as far as I know, it's used only twice in the Quran, whereas Li, Fal, and Wal, they have been used a lot in the Quran. So inshallah, when you are reciting the Quran, now you can notice that. Then we have استخرج ما في الدرس من أمثلة لام الأمر. So استخرج, extract ma, as we know, this is ma al-mawsula, what or whatever. في الدرس, we have in the lesson min from أمثلة, it will be مضاف. لامي will be مضاف إليه, and al-amri will be also مضاف إليه. من أمثلة لام الأمر, from the examples of لام الأمر. So here we have the examples of Laam al-Amr. لِيَدْخُلْ. So what will be the translation of لِيَدْخُلْ?
Let him enter.
Excellent. لِيَذْهَبْ.
Let him go.
Let him go. لِيَرْجِعُوا.
Let him leave.
Let them. Let them return. Let them come back.
Let them return.
Yes, excellent. You know, because it was basically يَرْجِعُونَ, perfect. And the noon has been dropped and it has been replaced with alif. لِيَلْبَسْ.
Let him wear.
Excellent. أحسنتي. لِنَقْرَأ.
Let him read. Let them read.
لنقرأ. Let us.
Let us read.
Let us read. Excellent. Yeah, because ya, as you see ya over there, so ya basically is used for the third person. You are right. And then we have for the plural, we also have ya, but it will have alif after that. And when we have aqra wa naqra, so aqra will be li aqra, yani let me read, and li naqra, let us read. So li naqra, let us read. Li yaktub.
Let him write.
Let him write. Li yaqra.
Let him read.
Let him read. And li yanzur.
Let him see.
Excellent. Let him see. Perfect. Then we have عين لام الأمر فيما يأتي وضبطها بالشكل. So we have here عين, as it has several meanings, like means to specify, to point out, as we can see here. Point out لام الأمر in each of the following examples. فيما يأتي وضبطها بالشكل, and vocalize it correctly. So basically we have to use, we have to figure out لام الأمر, and we have to give the proper or the correct form of لام الأمر. All right. ليذهب الطلاب الجدد إلى المدير وليرجعوا بعد مقابلته. Yes. So what will be the proper ending of ليذهب?
ليذهب ساكن مستر.
It will be saakin. Perfect. However, when we connect it with al, then we have to put kasra. Yes, we have to put kasra. So ليذهب الطلاب الجدد إلى المدير. Let the new students go to the manager. وَلْيَرْجِعُوا. And as you can see here, when we have wal, after wal, it also becomes sakin. وَلْيَرْجِعُوا, and let them come back. بَعْدَ مُقَابَلَتِهِ, after meeting him or after interviewing with him. قَابَلَ يُقَابِلُ مُقَابَلَةً, it means to meet, and also it means to interview. So let them come back after meeting with him. Yes, لِيَكْتُبْ. And when we connect it with excellent. ليكتب الطلاب الأجوبة. جواب, and the plural of جواب is الأجوبة. بالحبر الأزرق أو الأسود. So let the students write the answer with the blue pen or with the black pen. So they can write the answer either with the blue pen or with the black pen. Yes, number 3. Please try to answer.
لنذهب إلى المكتبة ولنقرأ الصحف والمجلة. Let us.
Perfect. Yes, please.
Let us go to the library and let us read the newspaper and the magazine.
أحسنتي. لنذهب. So here it will be ساكن. لنذهب, let us go. إلى المكتبة, to the library. ولنقرأ, and when we connect it with al, it will be وَلْنَقْرَأِ السُّحُفَ and وَالْمَجَلَّاتِ, and let's read the newspapers and the magazines. All right, so please remember that when we use Lam al-Amr, when we use it with the first person, al-mutakallim, after al-mutakallim, you can see that the noun will be mansoob. The noun will be mansoob. But after the third person masculine or feminine, the noun will be marfu. Yani the same rule will be used that we use for the regular verb or for the regular present tense or the past tense. So the same rule we have to use. You know that you remember the rule that after the first form, which is dhahaba, and the fourth form, which is dhahabat, this is for the past tense, and for the present tense, it will be yadhabu and tadhabu. So after dhahaba or dhahabat or yadhabu or tadhabu, when the doer is dhahir, and then it will take dhamma, as we know that. Yani dhahabat tullabu or dhahabat at-talibatu. So when we have the singular form of the third person, which is dhahaba or dhahabat, then after that the doer will be always marfu. And the rest of the 20 or the rest of the 12 forms of the verb, after these 12 forms of the verb, the noun will always be mansoob. Do you remember that?
Yes.
For example, yeah,
Yes,
yani, if you talk about yourself, you will say aqra'u al-kitaba, naqra'u al-kitaba. But if we talk about the third person, then after the third person, normally we know that dhahaba bilalun aw yadhhabu bilalun, and we know that after that the noun can be marfu'. Yes, number 4. ليقرأ
يقرأ كل طالب هذا الدرس فليكتبه.
Excellent. ليقرأ, as we know that this is verb form number 4, as we know. Yani this is the basically ghaib, and ghaib this is basically number 1, yaqra. So ليقرأ كل طالب, so that's why after that we can see that the noun is marfu. كل طالب هذا الدرس. So كل طالب is basically fa'il, and هذا الدرس is مفعول به. Let every student read this lesson, وَلْيَكْتُبْهُ, and let him write. All right. Yes, please.
طلاب قدام الطلاب الجدد.
Excellent. Al-Qudama. Liyusa'id means let him help. But when we see here that we have the doer over here, the doer is at-tullabu. So it will be liyusa'id at-tullabu. Let all the students help, or let at-tullab al-qudama. So we have the students, and we have the adjective for the students, which is old students. So let the old students help at-tullaba al-jududa, the new students. So here, where is the fa'il and where is the maf'ul bihi?
طلاب القدامى is the file.
أحسنتي. وَالطُّلَّابَ al-jududa is maf'ul bihi. Excellent. And how do you know that? Because it has dhamma, right? It has dhamma. And this is because we know that it does not accept dhamma, because we have alif maqsura over there. So this is mabni ala sukun. So this is basically also marfu, because we know that at-tulab is masuf and al-qudama is sifa. So masuf and sifa, both of them are marfu. So this is marfu with sukun, as we can see here. So liyusa'id. Yes, please.
طلاب القدامى is there, sir. Qudama is the
all
feminine.
No, it means the all students. Qadim, and the plural will be qudama.
Feminine or mudakkar muannas, yes, sir.
It's used for both. If it is talibat, for the talibat we will use qudama, and for the tullab we also use qudama. It's used for the both. Similarly, al-judud is also used for both. If we have talibat, so we will say liyusa'id at-talibat al-qudama wa-talibat al-jududa. So both of them we can see here, al-qudama wal-jududa, both of them are used for the masculine and for the feminine.
Okay, thanks.
So this is maf'ul bihi because it has fatha, and this is marfu because it has dhamma. Yes, this one is a little bit challenging. Who is going to answer this one? ليبقى. Okay.
بقى كل واحد
كل واحد في مكانه. Let everyone stay in his place. Okay. I mean to say, which change has taken place over here? بقي يبقى. بقي يبقى. So it was basically يبقى. And what happened over here? You know that when we use Laam al-Amr, then it makes the ending saakin. So when we make the ending saakin, then we drop alif maqsura. So when we drop alif maqsura, then only qaf will be left after that. So this is Majzoom, and here ya has been, or alif maqsura basically, alif maqsura has been dropped. ليبقى كل واحد في مكانه. Let every student stay in his place. Number 7 is easier. لنجلس. And when we connect it, we will say لنجلس الآن في الحديقة. Let's sit in the garden now. ثم نذهب إلى المسجد. Yes, perfect. So here it will be saakin. Why it will be saakin? Because of ثم. ثم نذهب إلى المسجد. And then let's go to the masjid. So لنجلس الآن. So we know that it is always مكسور. لنجلس الآن في الحديقة. Let's sit in the garden now. ثم نذهب إلى المسجد. And then let's go to the masjid. Beautiful exercises. We can see that in these exercises we have lots of practice, and we have the practice for all the 4 forms of Laam al-Amr, and inshallah it will be very helpful for us. Adkhil, as we know that the real meaning of adkhil means to enter, but when we translate it, when we talk about the running translation, then it will be translated as right. Laam al-Amri, as we know that adkhal is fail plus file, so Laam al-Amri will be in the place of maf'ul bihi. Adkhal Laam al-Amri ala al-af'al al-atiyati. So we have to enter Laam al-Amr to the following verbs. وَضَبِطْهَا بِالشَّكْلِ, and then we have to vocalize them properly or correctly. And when we look at the real or the running translation, it will be write each of the following verbs with Laam al-Amr and vocalize the Lam and the verb correctly. Yadkhulu, we have to enter Laam al-Amr, and then we have to make the ending correct, the correct ending. Yes, that is saakin. Excellent.
ليدخل.
Liyadkhul, excellent. Let him enter. Yakulu, he eats.
ليأكل
Liyakul, let him eat. Excellent. Then we have nanamu. You need to be a little bit careful over here. Nanamu, we sleep. Let us sleep.
لننام
La.
لننام.
Linanam. Linanam. Excellent. Linanam. Because what happens, we have nanamu, and when we use li before this, we need to know that the meme becomes saakin. The ending is always saakin. We have iltaqa'u saakinain. That means we have 2 saakin letters together. We have alif and meme. When we have 2 saakin letters together, the one that is weak, that has to be dropped. That has to be dropped. So when we drop alif, then it becomes linanam. Linanam, let us sleep. Yadhabuna, they are going. So it will be liyadhabu, let them go. Okay. Fanakulu, so or then we eat.
لا فنأكل
La. Lam. Wal. Fal. You remember?
فلنأكل.
Falnakul, excellent. Falnakul, perfect. Falnakul. So when we have fa and waw and thumma, then after fa, waw and thumma, Laam al-Amr itself becomes saakin. As you can see over here, it becomes saakin. So it becomes falnakul, let us eat. So let's eat. Okay. Yansa, again, you should be able to answer now. Yansa.
Yeah,
He
that
forgets.
means
Let
that
him forget.
Let him forget. The alif maksura gets dropped.
Excellent. Ahsanti. So it becomes liyansa. Liyansa, let him forget. All right. Nad'u, we call or we pray.
We pray.
Let us pray.
لندعو.
Okay, what change will take place?
Wow gets
Lindad.
dropped.
Waw will be dropped and then the ain will become the regular ain. So it becomes linad'u. Linad'u. Let us pray. Let us make dua. Excellent. And if we prolong it linad'u, then it becomes then it will be wrong. Then it will be wrong. So that's why we have to drop waw. Why we have to drop it? The same rule that we have discussed earlier. That waw is a weak letter, and when we have harf jazm before it, or the particle of jazm before it, then the waw or the weak letter gets dropped or it gets chopped, as we know. Yaqra'u wa yaktubu. He reads and he writes. Let him read and let him write.
ليقرأ
ليقرأ
وليكتب.
وليكتب. Excellent.
وليكتب.
ليقرأ وليكتب. Let him read and let him write. يركع ويسجد. He bends and he prostrates. Let him bend and let him prostrate.
ليركع
ليركع وليسجد. Excellent. وليسجد. What is that? Li fal wal. Okay, so that's why it becomes وليسجد. Let him bend or let him do ruku' and let him prostrate. Let him do sajda. نجلس هنا ونقرأ القرآن. We will sit here and we will recite the Quran. Let's sit here and let's recite the Quran.
لنجلس
لنجلس هنا
ولنقرأ
ولنقرأ
نقرأ
القرآن.
القرآن.
أحسنتي. لنجلس هنا ولنقرأ القرآن. Let's sit here and recite the Quran. يمشي, he walks. Let him walk.
ليمشي. The ya gets dropped.
Ya gets dropped and sheen will be the regular sheen. So liyamshi. Excellent. So now you know that when we have the weak letters, normally they get dropped. So it becomes liyamshi. Let him walk. Yaqulu, he says. Let him say. The weak letter has to be dropped. Yes, the weak letter has to be dropped. Liyaqul, right? Liyaqul. Liyaqul, let him say. Okay, why did I put fa there? There is no need to put fa there. If it is fayaqulu, then it will be falyaqul. And if we don't have fa before that, then it will be simply liyaqul, let him say. Let him say. Okay, so there is no need for the fa. Liyaqul, let him say. Yabi'u, he sells. Let him sell.
ليبيع.
Liyabi', excellent. So the ya also gets dropped. The ending becomes saakin, and the ya also gets dropped. Why? Because it is weak letter. Yashtari, he buys. Let him buy.
Let him. ليشتري. Again, the weak letter last ya gets dropped.
Yes, so it will be excellent. So it will be liyashtari. Liyashtari, yes, let him buy. Excellent, let him buy. Perfect. Now it says hati khamsata amthilatin li lam al-amri. So now we have to provide 5 examples of lam al-amr fi jumalin mufidatin, in useful sentences. Jumalin, as we know that this is a plural of jumlatun. So fi jumalin mufidatin. So now we have to use them in 5 useful sentences. So we have the examples over here. ليدخل الطلاب قاعة الاختبار. Let the students enter the exam halls or the exam hall. قاعة is used for the hall. لنذهب إلى المسجد النبوي. Let's go to Masjid al-Nabawi صلى الله عليه وسلم. ولنصلي صلاة الجمعة. And let us pray Salat al-Jumu'ah over there. It was basically لنصلي, and the ya has been dropped. The ya has been dropped. And wal, because we know that after waw it becomes saakin, so it is wal nusalli salat al jumu'ah. Linajlis fil mat'ami, let's sit in the restaurant. Wal nashrab al asira, and let's drink the juice. Liyaktub kullu talibun ismahu fi hadhihi al waraqati. Let every student write his name on this paper. Sami'a Bilalun anna, Bilal heard that. Hishaman, so we know that after anna, the noun will be mansoob, as we can see here, ismu anna. Maridun, khabaru anna will be marfu. So سمع بلال أن هشاما مريض. Bilal heard that Hisham is sick. فقال لأصدقائه, and then he said to his friend, لنعده. What will be the translation? Let us visit him.
Let
In
us
the previous lesson, I remember I told you that Ada Ya'udu has two meanings. Ada Ya'udu Audatan means to come back, to
visit the
return.
sick and
Yes.
return.
Ada Ya'udu Audatan means to return, and Ada Ya'udu Iyadatan means to visit the sick. لنعده, so let us visit him. Excellent. Why? Because he is sick. Now these are the examples again. These are the 5 sentences that we have over here, and you can make any 5 sentences that you would like to make by yourselves. سبق أن درست لا الناهية الداخلة على فعل المخاطب. So in the past tense, or in the previous lessons, we have learned سبق, it happened in the past. And that darasta, that you studied. Please remember that an can be used with the present tense, and it can also be used with the past tense, and it gives the same meaning as that. Okay, sabaka, it happened. And that darasta, you studied. We know that normally an comes with the present tense, right? And it makes the mudara majzoom, or it doesn't make it majzoom, it makes it mansoob, right? An adhaba, uridu an adhaba, I want to go. Yuridu an yadhaba, he wants to go. But when we use it with the past tense, it does not make any change to the ending, so it will be the same as it is. Sabaka an darasta, you have already studied. La an-nahiyata, la an-nahiya. Ad-dakhilata ala fi'l al-mukhatibi, that it enters on the mukhatab, which means the second person. Ad-dakhila here is basically, it is the sifa of an-nahiyata. So an-nahiyata will be mawsuf, and ad-dakhilata will be sifa. فعل المخاطب on the second person, نحو, for example, يا أحمد لا تلعب في الفصل. Oh Ahmed, don't play in the classroom. So we know that la is basically, or la an-nahiya is used for the second person. You remember that? However, and we have one more example. يا إخوانو لا تذهبوا إلى المطعم قبل الساعة الواحدة. Don't go to the restaurant before 1 o'clock. So we can see here that it is used for the second person. Ya Aminatu la tajlisi huna. Oh Amina, don't sit over here. And Ya akhawatu la taftahna an-nawafidha. Oh sisters, don't open the windows. So we can see here that tal'ab wa tadhhabu wa tajlisi wa taftahna, these are all second persons, all of them second persons. وتدخل لا الناهية على فعل الغائب أيضا. And also لا الناهية is entered, or it is used with the third person. For the third person, نحو لا يخرج أحدكم من الفصل. No one should leave or should go out of the classroom. So what is the difference between being used for the third person and being used for the second person? It is very easy. When we use it for the second person, then it is used as a direct prohibition. Direct prohibition, that you stop someone directly from doing something. La tadhhab, don't go. La ta'kul, don't eat. La tanam, don't sleep. La tatakallam kathiran, don't talk a lot. So you are talking to the second person directly. When we use it for the third person, then the meaning will change. Please remember that when we use it for the third person, then the meaning will change. Then what will be the meaning? One shouldn't do that. One shouldn't do that. So it gives the meaning of should or shouldn't, basically. So when we say La yakhruj ahadukum min al-fasli, that means no one should leave the classroom. So it will be La yakhruj, no one should leave the classroom. So the meaning will change. The meaning will change. When you talk to the second person, it is direct prohibition. And when you talk to the third person, or when you talk about the third person, then it will be indirect prohibition. This is basically nahi. You are prohibiting someone, you are stopping someone. But when you talk to the second person, this is direct prohibition. And when you talk about the third person, then this is called indirect prohibition. Is this clear?
It's alhamdulillah, Ustad.
All right, if it's clear, then it's your turn now. اضبط بالشكل الأفعال الآتية. Now you have to give the proper shape or the proper form to the following verbs. بعد لا الناهية فيما يلي, after using لا الناهية in the following sentences. Yes, so what will be the proper form of يدخل? لا يدخل.
ساكن Ustad. لا يدخل.
لا يدخل أحدكم الفصل في أثناء الدرس. What will be the translation?
No one should enter the classroom. No one should enter
The classroom, excellent. During the lesson, perfect.
during the lesson.
During the lesson, no one should enter the classroom during the lesson. So now, because we are talking about yadkhul, which is the third person, that's why it will be translated as should. Yani no one is allowed to do that. If you talk to someone directly in front of you, for example, a student comes to your classroom, what will you say? You will say, لا تدخل. لا تدخل الفصل في أثناء الدرس. Then you will talk to that person directly. If she is a feminine, then you will say لا تدخلي الفصل في أثناء الدرس. But this is not the second person, this is the third person. I hope it's clear now. لا يضرب بعضكم بعضا. Let's not.
Hit.
Yes, let not one another hit one another, each other, yes. Okay, لا يضرب بعضكم بعضا. Let not one another or each other hit each other. Okay. لا تدخل. Okay, what will be the ending of تدخل?
تدخل الجامعة سيارة
لا تدخل الجامعة سيارة الأجرة. The taxi shouldn't enter the university. The taxi shouldn't enter the university. And we know that we have تدخل because taxi is feminine, سيارة. That's why we have to use the verb which is also feminine. Yani no taxi should enter the university. Yes. لا يكتب, the ending will be ساكن. لا يكتب أحد على السبورة بغير إذن المدرس. No one should write on the board without the permission of the teacher. As we know, بغير means without. إذن means permission. المدرس of the teacher. No one should write on the board without the permission of the teacher. لا يكتب, and when we connect it, we will connect it with كسرة. لا يكتب الطلاب الأجوبة بالحبر الأحمر. The students must not write the answers with the red pen or in the red ink. Now you can see over here, we have translated as no student must. So why we have, or must not. So why we have translated as must not? If you remember that we have discussed that it can be translated as should not, and it can be translated as must not. In this context, it will be must not, because we know that writing in red pen is not allowed for the students. Only the teachers can do that when they are correcting the exam papers. لا يأكل, so the ending will be ساكن. لا يأكل أحد بالشمال. No one must eat with the left hand. So it is also, this is basically the meaning of the hadith, that no one should eat with the left hand. So this is basically لا يأكل أحد بالشمال. No one must eat with the left hand. لا يأخذ أحد المجلات خارج المكتبة. No one should take the magazines out of the library. Excellent, perfect. لا يسخر أحد من أحد. No one should ridicule anyone, as we can see here. So لا يسخر, the ending will be ساكن. لا يأخذ, the ending will be ساكن. So لا يأخذ, لا يسخر, no one should ridicule. And يسخر comes with the preposition of min, as you can see here. لا يسخر أحد من أحد. No one should ridicule the other.
In Surah Hujurat, there is
Yes,
an ayah.
Surah Hujurat, excellent. Yes, perfect. Yes. Number 9. I want to know the ending of لا يسب.
لا يسب
لا يسب, excellent. Excellent. لا يسب أحدكم أخاه المسلمي. Yani no one should abuse his Muslim brother, or no one should use the bad words to his Muslim brother. So sabba yasubbu, we know that means to abuse, and when we use la before that, then it becomes majzoom, but it becomes majzoom with fatha. Excellent. لا ينسى أحد جواز سفره. No one should forget his passport. Yes. La yansa. So you know here it was basically yansa, and the ending has become saakin. So alif maqsura has been dropped. لا يقل لي أحد في المستقبل. No one should tell me in the future إني نسيت الكتابة أو الدفتر, that indeed I have forgotten my book or my notebook. So these are the orders of the teacher to his students, that لا يقل لي أحد في المستقبل. No one should say to me in the future. So لا يقل, it was basically يقول, and then after making it sakin, it has become لا يقل. And it comes with the preposition of li, so that's why we have لا يقل لي, no one should say to me. أحد, no one, in the future, that I have forgotten my notebook or I have forgotten my book. And then we have two beautiful hadith over here. عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما أن النبي قال, from Ibn Umar رضي الله عنهما. Why we have anhuma over here? Because Ibn Umar and his father, both of them are Sahaba. Excellent. Both of them are Sahaba. The father is Sahabi. He is the companion of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and his son is also the companion of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why we have anhuma. And an Nabiya, so huma basically refers to both the father and the son. قال, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لا تسافر, and when we connect it with al, it will be kasra. لا تسافر المرأة ثلاثة أيام إلا مع ذي محرم. A woman should not set out on 3 days journey, but in the company of a mahram. So a woman should not leave her house or should not go on a journey except for going with mahram. Mahram means yes,
one who is permissible to
the one who is permissible to travel with the woman. That's right. Excellent. With the permission of the Sharia. Yes. All right. So as we can see here, a woman should not. So again, you can see over here, it is لا تسافر المرأة, yani any woman, it refers to any woman, and it is not for the second person, it is for the third person. A woman should not set out on 3 days journey, but in the company of a mahram. Rawahul Bukhari, it is narrated by Bukhari, rahmatullah alayhi. Then we have an Abi Hurayrata radiyallahu anhu anna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam qal. So now we have the hadith narrated by Abi Hurayra radiyallahu anhu. La yamna. So as you can see here, again, yamna ma'nahu yamnahu, jarun jarahu. So no one should prevent his neighbor an yaghriza khashabahu fi jidarihi, from fixing a piece of wood in his wall. So as again you can see here, la yamna jarun. So no one should stop or prevent his neighbor. So again we can see here that this is it refers to anyone and not to the specific person. No one should prevent his neighbor from fixing a piece of wood in his wall. So it could be the wall that is shared by both neighbors, or it could be the neighbor by himself. So this is basically about the rights of the neighbors. So alhamdulillah, we are learning now. As we can see here, we are able to understand the verses of the Quran, the hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that is our target. And inshallah, with the passage of time, we will be able to understand all of the Quran and Hadith as well. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah khairan.
Wa iyyakum.